Whakalofalai atu tā alofa lava, kia ora. My name is Mr Vasau and I'm the principal of Rowandale School. Today I'm going to be sharing a few tips for parents about two really important topics. One, how can you support and better support your children during lockdown with literacy and numeracy at home? And two, how can you have a safe talanoa with your children in relation to possibly their future pathways or their jobs or their dreams and aspirations in the future? You might be thinking, oh, literacy, numeracy, future, talanoa. Trust me, it all works together. And by the end of it, hopefully, I've been able to share with you why I chose those two. So, majority of parents around New Zealand would have already received now in the post their Ministry of Education home learning pack, as well as a home learning pack possibly from the school. They have access to websites or school websites or sites where they can engage online with the learning. And also you would have been connecting with some of your teachers if they've got connectability or ability to connect via Zoom or Google groups and things like that. So you would have been connecting. A lot of the work that you may have been receiving already would include a little bit of literacy and a little bit of numeracy. One thing is important, is that if I was to give a goal to a parent after lockdown, please work on this with your child. One thing I would say to a parent is if your child is not afraid of words and keen to actually learn what words are, boom, you've succeeded. On the other end, for numeracy, if your child knows what a number is and is curious about where that can take them or how you can make a number grow, you're the bomb. So if you can focus on those things, just that simple. But if you want to step it up and you want to get a little bit flash, then here are some little tips. So when we talk about literacy, if you look at it from a school perspective, in my world, there are three things that you can think. So literacy can come in the form of writing, can come in the form of reading, or importantly, it also can come in the form of oral. So those are just basically three that if we were to focus at home: written, reading, and oral. And so there are so many things you can do to nurture those. Of course, you can ask your child to sit down and read a book. Now, I believe every child in the world can read any book whatsoever. But you don't have to read the words. You can read the pictures. You can make predictions. You can talk about what you think the heading means. You can actually look at pictures. I know when I have a book for my son, he can't read a lot of words at the moment at 4, but we tell the whole story just by looking at the pictures. So there's always ways. So that oral way of sharing will also improve and increase their literacy skill. Read newspapers, you can go online and read some articles online, you can send people emails. I reckon if you sat down next to a boy and says, one of your sons and say, write a story about the photosynthesis. Now, sorry to all you scientists out there, but just an example. And then write an email to your cousin. Sometimes it's about the stimulus or the way in which you deliver the task. If you find something that they like to do, I promise you, they will write all day long about it, whether it be photosynthesis or it'll be an email to someone that they care about. You can do a whole lot of work around poems, songs, raps, finding those things that will get in and get them going, I love words, I love using words, I love being able to write them, read them, and speak them. Pictures, arts, drawings, there's so much. Okay. Instead of when you finish reading the story, instead of writing about your favorite part, draw a picture about your favorite part. And like I said, it doesn't matter. So many people out there also come from homes where English is a second language. So it's looking to see how you can merge the literacy in your language, in your mother tongues as well, with the literacy in English. Numeracy, 5 strands. Number, algebra, measurement, geometry, all of those different things. You can follow what the school's put in place, or you can look for the learning at home. You can sit around and measure the length of pieces of wood in your garden. You can time them, like I've said earlier in another broadcast. How quick can you vacuum the floor? Ready, go. So, this is time, son. This is time, daughter. This is how long you took. Let's see if you can do your room upstairs faster. So, you're not ambushing them, but you're trying to find fun ways to educate your children at home. Cooking is a good one. So, baking, measurement, how long in there? What does it taste like, feel like? So that's a little bit of literacy. So you're finding these real life examples of literacy and numeracy in your homes, because that way you'll continue to grow. Sometimes the formal way is not necessarily good outside the classroom or conducive outside the classroom. So do what you need to do. Now, I talked to you earlier about pathways. Pathways is about getting your children to sit down with you and talk about these skills. Reading and writing, maths, lead to somewhere. So setting goals as families with your children, writing them down, talking about what are their favourite subjects at school? What do they enjoy doing at school? Oh, goodness me, if you like that or nurture that kind of skill or that kind of talent, you could end up this place. Getting them to write it down. Share with your children your goals or your dreams or your pathways, but doing it within an environment where you include and encompass and welcome talanoa. And like I said, talanoa is an environment where you can share ideas, skills, knowledge, and expertise in the form of storytelling. So don't sit down and say, right, your turn, my turn. Sit around and have a conversation, because in those conversations, you'll be able to get real talk from your children. You'll be able to connect further with your children, and that's what real talanoa is. So pathways are really important. Getting these kids to aim high now while they're at home with you, connecting, understanding your children's dreams and aspirations, so important. If anything, coming back to school and being able to share those. What are your goals for when you want to go back to school? What do you want to do differently when you go back to school? Some of the things you've adopted in your homes, you might want to keep going with. They might be working really well with you. But of course, there are certain things where you're like, okay, now son, daughter, off you go to school. So it's important at home that you find real life experiences, real life learning opportunities, because that's the way you'll get better buy-in, especially in relation to literacy and numeracy. And having the opportunity to sit down as a family, sit down one-on-one with your children and talanoa in a safe way, tell stories and connect with your child in a safe way and talk about their dreams and aspirations, so that you can put one part of the day where they're learning into a little bit of action, to a little bit of direction, drive to get to a certain place. Hopefully you've found today's discussion really helpful, and if you try these things at home, I'm sure they'll work. Whakao e lahi mahaki.